Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk about Sony and PlayStation, and I'm getting the feeling that they know they're in trouble. I'm really getting that feeling because we've talked about Sony and how the PlayStation brand is not worth nearly as much in Japan as it was before, and a lot of that, I believe, is due to the fact that they've pivoted toward more Western titles. It's a Japanese company that stopped making Japanese games or Japanese style games, and they've been losing a lot of ground to Nintendo, of course, and to PC, to Steam, and now they've put a Japanese man in charge of PlayStation. That's really, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Like, I would have expected this, but the fact that it's such major news tells me that maybe Sony knows they have to course correct. Maybe we won't see California have as much influence over Sony products worldwide because they shouldn't. Again, Sony is a Japanese company. We can make games, Western games for Western audiences, but the entire world shouldn't have to suffer through Californicated video games, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit and talk about the state of the video game industry. That I think this is all about course correction. I think the next year or two, we're going to see a lot of layoffs, and I think that's really about course correction because they made a lot of mistakes, right, during the DEI era of video games. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to clownfishminus.com, help support the Reef, buy some merch, be very much appreciated. And also you can join the Reef here on YouTube and on Locals as well. So I'm going to try hard not to botch these names, but Variety had it. This news broke last night. Sony shakeup is it Hiroki Totoki named corporate CEO, and Hideaki Nishino elevated to solo CEO role at Sony Interactive Entertainment. That would be PlayStation. That'd be video games. So Sony is shaking up its leadership ranks in Tokyo and San Mateo, elevating Hiroki Totoki to the top CEO post, while Nishina takes the reins of Sony Interactive Entertainment as the solo CEO of the unit that houses PlayStation. Solo CEO of the unit that houses PlayStation. Interesting. The corporate shuffle, effective April 1st, was approved Tuesday by the electronics and entertainment giant's board of directors in Tokyo. So, let's see. The CEO is a 38-year Sony veteran who most recently served as Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer. Will succeed Yoshida as leader of the company. Okay. Totoki will serve as President and CEO of Sony. The handoff from Yoshida to Totoki also comes with a restructuring of the senior business ranks. Now, we're going to talk about, and they're talking about, Hollywood end of it. We're going to talk about the video game side of it, though. I think they're trying to save their video game division, right? Nishino was elevated to CEO of Sony Interactive's Platform Business Group in May of 2024. So this is where it's interesting. He shared oversight with PlayStation maker with Herman Hulst, who was the CEO of the division. Those appointments were made in the wake of the departure of CEO Jim Ryan. The elevation of Nishino to the top post overseeing all of Sony caught industry observers by surprise. This is part of them pivoting back to what works, I think, because a lot of these high-profile AAA failures, they're Western. They're Western-developed games. And Sony is a Japanese company, and some of their biggest hits that they've had lately were lower-budget games. Astrobot was a huge deal, but remember, they shut down, I don't remember what year it was, but they shut down their Japanese studio. Like, they basically broadcast to the world that they were not interested in making Japanese-style games, that they were a Western video game company, and they paid dearly for that, I think. Their reputation is not good, and they're bleeding out lots of money, and there was some doubt as to whether or not there was even going to be a PlayStation 6 because the brand is so damaged in Japan, but they were like, well, it's okay, we got California. I'm like, I don't know. Square Enix was going Sony exclusive, and now it's so bad that they've opened it up to every platform. They're going to put their games on every platform because they have to survive. But yeah, people are like, what the hell just happened? I'm truly honored to take the helm at Sony Interactive Entertainment. Technology and creativity are two of our biggest strengths as we continue to focus on developing experiences that deliver entertainment for everyone. We will continue to grow the PlayStation community in new ways, such as IP expansion, while also delivering the best in technology innovation. I want to thank Herman for his expertise and leadership as he continues his role as CEO, Studio Business Group. So he's going to be on the, I guess, the Hollywood side of things. I am deeply grateful for the PlayStation community and their continued support, and I'm very excited for what the future holds. Yeah, so he's going to be president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, in addition to serving as CEO of the Platform Business Group and CEO of the Studio Business Group. Sony said that Holst will continue to lead the development, publishing, and business operations of their first-party content. He'll also be tasked with driving Sony's push for Sony Interactive to work with Sony Pictures, in developing adaptations of gaming franchises, Last of Us, et cetera, et cetera. So this is really very, very interesting, and I think it's about pivoting back to what works. Because again, we had several years of DEI in gaming, which has caused gaming to DIE. Now, this is actually not an accurate headline. I went out and tried to find this article. This came from 4chan. 11% of all game developers were laid off in the last 12 months. The hardest hit were women. That may be true, but that's not the actual headline. The actual headline is coming from PSU.com. 11% of game developers surveyed by GDC were laid off in the last 12 months. I'm telling you what I think is going on. And, a lot of other people have been talking about this. We are seeing massive course correction. It's like the death of disco. And I talked about that before. Like one day it's hot, next day it's not. It wasn't even like there was any phasing out of disco into new wave or whatever. It was just, it was done, right? The radio stations were told, don't play disco. Well, now the gaming industry is being told, don't play with DEI. Don't make AAA title, $400 million AAA titles. And remember, Sony had some massive misfires with Concord because they doubled down on the DEI shit. And this is what happened. And they can't afford that anymore. So I think they're putting a Japanese man in charge to try to bring it back to what works. They had to have looked at a disastrous year in AAA gaming and been like, yeah, this is a danger, Will Robinson, danger. We got to pivot back to what works. And Concord was a huge failure for them. I think it was massive. And so he's in. I think that we're going to see more AA titles that are going to appeal to a wider audience, like Stellar Blade and Pal World. They got Pal World locked down, I guess, too. And we're just hopefully going to get back to just making fun games. And all this DEI nonsense is going to be in the rearview mirror, and a lot of people are going to look back at it and be like, yeah, remember that 4 or 5 years that like every game franchise had a black lesbian in a wheelchair, even Pac-Man. No, kidding about that. But like that, that's over. It's all over. So hopefully the video game industry is going to get its head out of its ass and get back to making money and making players happy. And then people will buy their products. That's what you're in business for, right? It's not a charity. You're in business to sell products, right? You got to make stuff that people want to buy. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.